go next.
Monk on the beat.
Welcome viewers to this edition of our program. My name is Obilo Anthony. We are coming to you from the platform of the Truth of the Matter on Biafra Television, London. With me here are two gentlemen who will look into this matter, starting from my left.
Yes, I'm Amadou Silva. Thank you for having me.
And from my right.
Fine, thank you very much.
On today's edition, we have this topic to discuss here. We heard that a proposal had been sent to the U.S. Congress to approve the United States of America to supply military weapon or to sell military weapon to Nigerian government, which is against the U.S. Leahy law, especially to a country like Nigeria that should be tagged a terrorist nation by now. And from our all indication, we are suspecting that such a thing is like a lobby, maybe trying to lobby some men inside the Congress there to approve this kind of thing, going against the law of the United States of America. Starting from my left here, I would like Mazi Basil Oba to look into this matter and tell us what he make out of it. Mazi Basil.
Thank you very much. If you look at a lot of human rights abuses in Nigeria, firstly, you look at what happened on the 9th of February 2016, when the Nigerian armed forces went to National High School about where our people were praying and singing. So they killed our people. Those of them had bullet injuries. They took them to a particular place, used dry agents on our people and dumped their bodies in a shallow grave. So this is against human rights, So now come to what happened on the 30th of May, 29th and the 30th of May 2016. The Nigerian government used their security agents and they killed over 150 Biafrans, which Amnesty International had their investigation and they said yes, it was true. So the report from Amnesty International is there for the whole world to see. So I believe that the U.S. Congress cannot ignore the report from the Amnesty International of all people to sell attack aircraft to Nigeria due to human rights abuses.
Thank you.
Not only that, there are so many human rights abuses coming from the Nigerian government and their security operatives. You look at how they are supplying ammunition to Boko Haram terrorists and the herdsmen. Are you getting me? I'm coming. You see how they are supplying ammunition to terrorists, how they are supplying ammunition to herdsmen, and they are using those ammunitions to kill civilians. That is to say that there is unprofessional use of ammunition in Nigeria. Therefore, the Leahy law forbids the U.S. Congress to sell ammunition to Nigeria.
Thank you. Come to you, Mazinedi. Selling of a weapon to Nigerian government by United States, is it against the human rights?
Of course, especially when it has to do with a country that massacre her own people, like in the case of Nigeria. Nigeria have killed so many civilians in the name of fighting their Boko Haram. And the point is this: who are behind this Boko Haram? Why does it take too long for the government to tell the world who are behind the Boko Haram formation?
But Nigerian government have been denying and fighting against Boko Haram. So how are you trying to say that they are the ones sponsoring Boko Haram? Why they are fighting?
As far as we all know, Boko Haram is political. Boko Haram in Nigeria is political because you can't separate the politics and Boko Haram. Because if you look at the origin, at the beginning of the Boko Haram, from their leader, you could see the relationship between the Boko Haram and the government and politicians. What is stopping government all this while from even convicting a single individual in regards to Boko Haram? Even those that are somehow they claim to have convicted, we are recently released and pardoned, a kind of in exchange of the agreement or whatever. So what I'm saying is this: Nigeria does not merit any military assistance, because definitely all the arms and ammunition you give Nigeria is ended up, all of them ended up, majority of them ended up in the hands of the so-called Boko Haram or herdsmen for the massacring of the masses. It is there today in Nigeria. Imagine in a country where herdsmen, people that go with cows in the bush, they were given AK-47. You know, AK-47 rifle is a worldwide acknowledged war ammunition. But this war ammunition is given to an individual that is carrying cows on the street. Carrying cows in the... Imagine what an individual with that kind of mentality can do with the AK-47. He can come any place and shoot people and kill people. And this is a country that allows such a thing to be happening without, for a single day, having arrested or convicted even a herdsman. Not to talk of Boko Haram sponsored, political sponsored group. Now, okay, what I'm saying is that Nigeria does not merit it.
Okay, I will come back to you, Mazi Baseloba. Based on our professional use of arms in Nigeria, which have resulted to a lot of casualty, do you think that it's good for U.S. Congress to approve such selling of arms to Nigerian government?
Not at all. If you look at this attack aircraft we are talking about, because Nigeria wants to buy attack aircraft from United States. Now, let us go back to 2015. What happened during this administration of Muhammadu Buhari? Immediately Muhammadu Buhari assumed office, he used a bomb, that is Nepal bomb, on the people of Akwa Ibom people, where a lot of people were killed. Do you understand? So this one is against human rights, because this type of ammunition was suspended. It shouldn't be used by any government, especially on civilians. Because of this issue, Congress shouldn't approve the sale of arms to Nigeria. That is number one. Number two, if you go to Biafra land, you see that the herdsmen are moving freely with ammunition. And when they get to their location, a particular place they want to attack, they will attack and nothing will happen to them. Now, who is giving them ammunition? Where are they getting those ammunitions they are using to kill civilians in Biafra land? If you look at it, you see that there is no professional use of arms in Nigeria. Not only that, you see that when the military men of Nigeria want to defend Nigeria from Boko Haram attack, you see what happened? Some of them will not take the ammunition they're supposed to use to defend Nigeria and supply them to Boko Haram. So the Nigerian government have been also killing civilians. Look at during Trump's rally in 2016. Nigerian government killed a lot of civilians of Biafra in Port Harcourt. Are you getting me? There are many others. Look at Head Bridge. Nigerian government killed. These ones I'm mentioning are the ones Nigerian government is doing, not just Boko Haram or other terrorists.
But let me come in. Based on constitution and international law, each country has a right to acquire some arms from a world power government or from the manufacturer. Does it mean that U.S. should not supply such arms to Nigeria
not
for
at all, because
security reason, for the country to secure itself?
Because of human rights abuses in Nigeria, U.S. shouldn't sell arms to Nigeria.
Based
because
on
that
the human rights abuse.
Yes, and that violates Leahy law. That one is certain, because Congress must respect that law, not to sell arms to Nigeria. Those attack aircraft, Nigeria will use it to bomb civilians. That one is sure. Look at Shia Muslims. Thousands of Shia Muslims were killed under Muhammad Buhari. These people is because of their religion. They were all killed. Are you getting my point? So this is also human rights abuse in Nigeria. Are you getting
but let me come in here. The excuse or the reason they are giving to U.S. Congress for them to allow or to approve the purchase of this arm is that they are using it to fight terrorism in Nigeria. They're using it to fight against Boko Haram.
This is not our first time to hear something like that. Nigerian government have been using this strategy to buy weapons across the world. There are many countries Nigeria bought weapons last 2 years, last 3 years, even good luck to Jonathan's administration. They bought weapons from those countries. Now, come to this time around, Nigerian government telling the United States government that they want to use it to fight terrorists. Are you getting me? This is not the fact. Are you getting me? Muhammad Buhari acquired ammunition and he used those ammunitions to kill Biafrans during the protest. Do you understand? Why the people of Biafra embarked on a protest during the time is because they were not comfortable with disobedience to court orders. Do you understand? And at the peak of the protest, the Nigerian government killed the civilians who were armless. Are you getting me? So this is also human rights abuse. Now, if you put all of them together, you see that a lot of human rights abuses in Nigeria shouldn't allow the Congress to approve any weapon sent to Nigeria.
Thank you. Okay, I come to you, Mazi Nadi. Based on the kind of sophisticated weapon Nigerian government is demanding from United States of America, we had that 314 Super Turbo light attack aircraft is needed, and such aircraft is needed in warfare. What can you say about what do you think is the motive of Nigerian government by acquiring such jet?
The current administration have a hidden agenda, which they have been able, the US have not been able to understand, except if they can listen to us. Because how can they be talking about purchasing such a war ammunition, war aircraft? That means they are planning for war. And of course, the signals are there. Why did I say that the signals are there? Why is it that Nigerian government is releasing Boko Haram? Exchanging Boko Haram with the key Boko Haram officers, they exchange them with the civilians. This is not the first time Nigerian government have been buying ammunition from overseas. Where are those ammunitions that they have been buying all this while? But you see Boko Haram carrying different kind of big ammunitions. Who gave them those ammunitions? Who are cooperating with Boko Haram? Where did they acquire their ammunitions? Now, if you bring it down, recently, about 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, the Air Chief, the Air Force Chief in Nigeria, came before the entire public and was bragging and threatening the eastern region of the country, the Biafrans, that if care is not taken, that he's going to use his position to make sure that Biafra doesn't come.
Exactly.
Directly, he's telling us that he's going to bomb Biafrans.
Which means the reason, this is one of the motives
so
of the
now they are now rushing.
Purchase such arm.
Not too long, they have just said it. They are now going to get the arm, because when they say something, they go after it immediately. Like my colleague pointed out, the one they use in Akwa Ibom, maybe the aircraft have developed a problem, because at any point you kill a Biafra, one thing must happen to Nigeria at every killing that goes in Biafra land. Exactly. If they kill one person, something bigger will happen to Nigeria. So the land of Nigeria is already cursed because of the innocent blood they are pouring there. So right now, they are going to US because they want to purchase a new aircraft, which they are going to use, as has been threatened recently by the Air Force, the head of the Air Force, Nigerian Air Force, because he said it before the public. It's not something hidden. You can get it in the newspapers. It's there in the newspapers.
And based on that statement, and based on the motive of Nigerian government, is against the US lady law.
Yes, because he has
already
said it before the public what they are intending to do with the aircraft. So why the sale of the aircraft? We can understand that the US has the right to do their business, but that is not. US should see themselves as the land of the father. US stands like a father of all nations today in the world. They should not tolerate that.
Based on that, now, based on what you said regarding business, I want to say this or throw it to you. You know that there is something that used to happen to the Congress, where Nigerian government will move and lobby some certain people to give their approval. What if such a thing is going on now?
Of course, they will take their money and reject the proposal. Because Nigeria being a cost country, of course, it's a very clear. If they approach any of the House member, they should take the money and reject the proposal. That will give Nigeria a big signal. If for any reason they approach them in that form, let them collect the money and reject the proposal. It doesn't stop in any way. We will even like Nigeria to be, because Nigeria have been killing people. This country, the world doesn't know the level at which people have been killed in Nigeria, because some of the killings they are downplaying is just like the recent ones. They will kill 30, the newspapers will tell you they kill 5.
But do you think that this present administration or this present government, Donald Trump, will approve such a thing?
I hope he will not approve it. Because in his political campaign, he said that he's going to stand with those who are fighting for freedom. And of course, Biafrans played a very big role in campaigning for him, both in America, online, even in Nigeria, to the extent that even to campaign for Trump, Biafrans were still killed. So what are we talking about? The American House or the government of America should look into this issue. They shouldn't take it lightly. Nigerian governments are not looking for aircraft for any other reason other than to kill. Let Nigerian government tell them why. Let them go and explain to America why are they exchanging Boko Haram? Why are they killing Biafrans? Why are they giving herdsmen AK-47 just to lead a cow on the street? So how can you give people that are involved in this kind of all crimes against humanity, you want to give them another aircraft, which means you want them to level all the Biafrans? So please, the world should listen and talk to America.
Back to you, Maziofa. Based on the amnesty report, what message are you going to pass to the Congress regarding this request and proposal?
Amnesty International have their report, and then the report should be respected by the American government, including Congress, should look into the amnesty report and decide whether they should sell arms or attack aircrafts to Nigeria. From the time of President Obasanjo, when he bombed Udi, to the time of Muhammad Buhari, which is this particular administration, they have been using their attack aircrafts to act against human rights, which the US government should protect around the world. It's their own obligation, that is the US government, to protect human rights all over the world. Nigeria is a country where they do not respect human rights. A lot of people of Biafra were killed on 29th and 30th of May, which Amnesty report has given their report to the US to see. So I don't see any reason why the US will approve, that is Congress, will approve the sale of arms to Nigerian government. There are a lot of issues on human rights abuses in Nigeria, which the US government are very much aware of that. So they must respect amnesty report and not to sell one single arm to Nigeria.
And as well, the United States Leahy law, which prohibits United States of America from selling arms to any unit or any government that will use it to violate human rights. I come to you, my brother, Mazin Nadi. Nigeria, for the past 10-15 years now, we know that this country have never been to any war, but have been purchasing of arms. Just as our colleagues here mentioned, during the regime of Obasanjo, he used it to bomb Udi and Zakigem. And something recently happened in Akwa Ibom. They used the Nepal bomb to bomb the people of Akwa Ibom. All the ammunition Nigeria have been purchasing all this while being used on human life. All these things, I want to ask you, is United States and world aware of this?
Of course they are aware. They are aware because this issue is not a hidden issue. And of course, Biafrans have been campaigning about it. And the Amnesty report, like my colleague says, is there for them to visit and even see by themselves. Then, apart from that, this requires a common sense. A common sense in the sense that what have they been using the one they purchased in the past to do? I keep on asking. All these things they are shouting Boko Haram, Boko Haram, Boko Haram, Boko Haram, Boko Haram. Who is giving them ammunition? For the past 12 to 13 or 14 years the Boko Haram have been operating, have Nigeria been able to bring to the public notice a report detailing the source of Boko Haram arms? Which country or which country are behind Boko Haram? Have Nigerian government been able to point her finger on any government or any group outside as the supplier of Boko Haram arms? If not, that means Boko Haram are acquiring their arms within Nigeria. Because for anybody to believe that Boko Haram are not acquiring their ammunition from Nigeria, Nigerian government have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that this is the people, this is the source of their arms and ammunition. Then again is that the world is aware because the campaign against this situation is going on around the world, especially by we Biafrans. The world, I believe, is aware, but don't rule out the international politics, the international business interests. Because as you are trying to block certain human rights violations in many countries, there are also individuals and even some governments, international governments, that are growing the economy from such source. So I am saying that the world should stop, because the earlier they stop from supplying government like Nigeria this kind of arms and ammunition or aircraft to attack civilians, I mean, the faster they are solving the problem of terrorism. You can't be saying that you are trying to solve the problem of terrorism while you are supplying guns and ammunition and aircraft to a government that is dining with terrorism. Because in Nigeria, they have not been able to tell the world who is responsible for sharing AK-47 to the herdsmen, Fulani herdsmen. Who owns the gun?
Let the world know that they are Nigerian government
anything they give to Nigeria,
supplying arms to these herdsmen and also to the terrorists.
And even the one they are going to give them tomorrow will also be shared with the herdsmen and their likes. Even the aircraft can be shared in different form. So Nigeria is not a trusted government. The government of Nigeria is not a trusted government.
Which means U.S. should not, if indeed U.S. is an advocate of democracy and human rights, they should not supply, they should not sell
at all
any weapon to Nigerian government. I come to you, Mazi Basel Oba. What do you have to say regarding this issue before we round up? What do you want to tell the audience based on media as well, things that have been happening, the way they use it to kill masses, but still the world powers or the world, like a country like United Nations, the United States of America are still selling or trying to approve the proposal of selling arms?
Yes, thank you. I would like the United States government to understand that it is their own obligation to protect human rights, and it's their own obligation even to sponsor Amnesty International Amnesty International has their report, and that report should be respected. The report is against Nigeria on the issue of human rights abuses in Nigeria. So, on this issue, the US should not sell arms to Nigeria. And my advice to Biafrans is they should continue to do what they're doing as far as it is under the law.
Thank you.
Because the citizens of Biafra are law-abiding people. We don't violate human rights. We don't do anything that is against international law or democracy. Do you understand? According to information, we know that Nigerian government is acquiring those ammunition or want to acquire attack aircraft from the United States of America in order to attack civilians of Biafra if Biafrans continue to agitate for their freedom.
Thank you very much.
So, because that the United States supports freedom, the US shouldn't sell one single arm to Nigeria. Thank you very much.
In 1 minute before we round up, Mazinadi, what do you have to do?
Well, I don't have much to say other than to tell our people, especially those living in America and other part of the world, to communicate more the need for America not to supply Nigeria of any type of ammunition. That is very, very important. So as you listen to this message, you audience there, organize yourself, make sure this message is communicated to the appropriate quarters. Help us and take this message, especially you that is living in America. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen, for participating in this program. Thank you so much. Viewers, you have heard, it's only in Nigeria where herdsmen are used AK-47. Herdsmen is only in Nigeria you see where herdsmen are using AK-47. It's also only in Nigeria you see where the military jet is being used to bomb its own people just for agitation of their right. And other things is only in Nigeria you will see where innocent protesters are being shot face to face by the military. So these are the reasons to prove to you, and also based on the amnesty report that have been released recently regarding what is happening in Nigeria, is an evidence to prove to the world and US Congress that Nigerian government is not worthy for such arm, sophisticated arm they are asking for. It's not worthy. Rather, they will sell it or supply it secretly to the Boko Haram to use to destroy or to disturb people, or also to pass it to herdsmen or to gunmen to come and terrorize. Nigerian government had been seen or known as a terrorist government right from day one. They are not supposed to exist based on what is coming up. So we are pleading to US Congress never to approve such proposal that have been given to them by Nigeria, in as much as United States of America still remain #1 advocate for democracy and human rights, and also a country that will never go against its own law. They should remember about the Leahy law, which they themselves made. Thank you very much for participating in this program, gentlemen here with me, and also for our viewers. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.
Biafra freedom, freedom is what we need now. Freedom, freedom is what we want now. Biafra freedom, freedom is what we need now. Freedom, freedom is what we want now. Calling the United Nations to set my people free. Calling the League of the Nation to set Biafra free. Lord no. Calling the African Union, talk about my freedom. I calling the four corners of this world to set Biafra free. Lord, for so long